That old school intro.
The best of the best player, take you round the world and up like elevators.
They try to duplicate us, but they can never be. That's between you and me.
Yeah.
Etc. etc.
Shout out to Revis Content.
Etc. etc.
But they can never be. That's between you and me.
Dare I say player, future alligators, looking through my eyesight like looking at a skyline. Wi-Fi my aura, I'm so online. I'm late enough to be on time. She died yours and jumped on mine. It's pimp pimping, silk lining, plush linen, hand stitching. I'm picture perfect, hieroglyphic. If she ain't dying a home girl with it, turning heads like dreads. Caution, no tricking, just excessive grain gripping. Cup full of drink, blunt rolled, I'm lane switching. Me and King Tut had the same visions. Either stay home or come with it. Some dig, but most miss it. I'm dropping presents for the ungifted. If you was in the lead, the momentum just shifted. 18, 3 kings, 4 great feats. Name another Mississippian on a ski beat.
The best of the best player, take you round the world and up like elevators.
They try to duplicate us, but they can never be. That's between you and me.
Yeah.
Etc. etc.
Bonus points if anybody can guess the artist in this song or the album. There's some old school Jets, Currency. Oh shit, I already gave one away. Some old school shit, man.
So bitches break trees down, coffee tables.
This is when people didn't know what stoner rap was.
Niggas like they was pregnant with them. Run with cleats on these beats. I am not slipping at your women. Febreze venom. I clean kill them. Green linen. Weed so soft. I go so hard. Think of new flows in my old.
Anyways, man, welcome to Contemporary Comrades Podcast. It's your boy Heavy J, Big J, whatever the fuck. Corn, say what's up to the people, man.
What's up, man? It's been a while, man. It's been a while, but we back. We got the Black Mirror season 6 review on deck, as y'all already know. In case y'all ain't know, man, before this season, before this latest Black Mirror season, if you really want to call it Black Mirror, we'll get that here in a second. Everything we were talking about in terms of the future, in terms of us not learning from history, in terms of us not opening our eyes, opening our minds to sensible things and not things that just keep us entertained. All that was implemented into Black Mirror. Like there's other people out there that think alike when it comes to not just Big Brother corrupt government, but in terms of our society and the way we move, the way we think, how easy it is to be manipulated. But this latest season, man, I don't know what it was, man. Maybe it was some very big hiccup, but it just was. It wasn't it, man. But we're gonna get into it, man.
Definitely. Yeah, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. I do want to start by saying before we even get into it, man, it's good to be back with my brother on this podcast, man. Like real shit.
Mega facts.
Real shit. The time off is mainly my fault. I've just been, you know what I'm saying, we're just doing some personal building and shit. But hey, it feels good to be back.
It definitely does.
We'll put it that way. Shout out to Revis Content. He said, I watched the first 2 episodes of season 6. I just wasn't intrigued enough to keep going. Bro, I'm gonna tell you. Look, I was gonna save this for when we actually dove into the shit, but I'm with you, bro. I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. I had to watch it. It was so hard to keep my attention. The show. It was so tough for me to like. It just wasn't grabbing me at all. Like previous Black Mirror seasons had grabbed me, in the past. Even like the ones that I thought sucked. Like season 5, I didn't think it was that great. Or no, sorry, season 4, I think it was. I didn't think it was that great. It was one of them that, but I still like watched them. You know what I mean? I still watched all the episodes and like kind of binged it in a way. But this one, I was like, dude, I was like falling asleep and like on my phone, like this shit is not it, bro.
But you know what's funny though is that because we talked before. Obviously, we talked, during pre-recording or whatever. But you told me that you watched it twice. That's why I was like, yeah, man, I could only sit through this whole thing once, and like I binged it pretty much the whole thing up until like maybe like halfway to episode 5. And not only because I was tired, but I was just like, bro, I just can't. What the fuck am I watching right now? I thought I was gonna,
Yeah, dude.
I did some extracurricular activities before turning
Right.
on episode 1 of season 6, thinking
Right.
that, I'm about to watch some, and then it's just, I don't know any better
Right.
way to really explain it, but it just it did not live up to expectations.
You're right. I mean, you're 100% right. And me watching it twice was me having to literally watch, the last 20 minutes of episode 2 or like the last 30 minutes of episode 5 or whatever, because I just wasn't engaged at all.
Yeah.
Like I literally had to watch each episode two times. I think I had to watch episode 3 or 3 times because I didn't get the fucking like I didn't get enough to podcast on about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shout out to Corner on the Pod.
Yeah, I know.
Comrades are back, baby. You already know what it is. We're gonna leave that up there for a minute.
Yeah, niggas need to hit that like and that subscribe, man.
Yeah,
All right,
we're gonna leave it up there for a minute. But we told y'all we were gonna do this stream when the season came out before we had seen the season, right? So we had to do it. So
Yeah.
regardless, we had to do it. We got to bring y'all our opinion on the shit. But in a nutshell, as the title says, this ain't it, fam. This ain't it, bro.
Yeah.
We'll just probably end up going episode by episode. And then I want to ask you your favorite episode, if you have one, or which one you dislike the least. I'll put it that way. Which episode you dislike the least after we go through them. And then I also want to ask you, do you think it'd been better? Well, actually, I'm gonna save that. I'm not even gonna mention that yet. So anyway, season 1, Jesus Christ. Episode 1 called Joan is Awful. Now the premise of this episode was basically this like typical office chick who lives this like, boring, mundane life, who essentially like got with her and the bad boy like guy didn't work out, but he was like he had that energy. He was he was the one that got away for her, right? But she was married to some dude who was like good for her, you know what I'm saying? Not good to her or whatever, or good to her and good for her, not what she wanted though.
Mhm.
And it basically followed her life from the time where she was in this relationship with this good guy, quote unquote. She goes to her office, has to fire a good employee or seemingly good employee or employee that she was going to call her friend or whatever. And then come to find out her life is actually being broadcast real time on basically that episode's version of Netflix. I don't know if you remember that, Corn.
Yeah.
And
Streamberry.
Streamberry. That's what it was. Streamberry. And so Streamberry was playing her life and a bunch of other people's lives simultaneously for people to watch. And so her name was Joan, so her show was Joan is Awful. There's like Ben is awful, so and so is awful. Yeah, so this premise was I thought this was one of the better episodes on the season. Actually, I'm between this episode and episode 5 for the best. But that's not really saying a whole lot, to be fair.
Yeah.
Not saying a whole lot, but yeah, I think that this was one of the best 2 episodes because I thought the idea was interesting, and that's something that really could happen. Because like they told her like, hey, look, you signed the terms and agreements when you downloaded the app that your life could be used as, basically a fucking a show for people to watch. And she goes, well, what if you were they're like making it worse than it is. Like they're not doing it right. And they're like, well, section such and such, article such and such, they can do that. And it was just like, damn, the terms and conditions got her ass.
Yep.
Like that part to me, I was like, damn, that makes sense because you are signed the contract. and they had no legal, wrongdoing in that shit.
I thought in this, at least at the beginning, when they went over the whole terms and conditions part, I thought that for sure. I'm dead. Your avatar is.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I don't know why I did that.
But so when it went over the whole terms and conditions part, I thought that it was going to be, oh yeah, we all have these cameras and microphones in place, and that you sign an agreement for those. Like, I thought you were going to get down to like the nitty gritty of how they even were able to spy on them,
Right.
but they didn't even do that though.
Nope. And that's what Black Mirror of old would have done.
Yeah,
They would have gone behind the scenes. Yep.
Yeah, it would have at least shown like, okay, we have cameras in place here. We have cameras everywhere, which is I thought would be like one of that. That's a low hanging fruit right there. Like, that's an easy one right there to do. An easy detail to input into this story, into this episode, to kind of give people a little more insight, to make it more relatable and more realistic to what would happen in the real world, which is cameras are everywhere. Where you go to these high paying jobs, these big businesses, it's always cameras everywhere. And then we already know that government can do whatever the fuck they want. These big businesses and corporations can do whatever the fuck they want. So now they can implement microphones anywhere they want to, even in bathrooms. So
yeah. And I mean, you've downloaded the app on your phone. You give it all the permissions to get all that information anyway.
Yeah.
They got your camera, they got your microphone, they got your text messages, they got your phone records,
your files.
They got all your documents and all your pictures and everything. They have access to all that.
Yep.
So very easy to what I'm saying. They could have really went into that and showed people, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Which again was very interesting. And then it turns out like even the lawyer that was helping her had a show about her. And it was like everybody got on that motherfucker, which is hilarious. But so that was like probably the most lighthearted of the episodes. The rest of them were really kind of dark, in my opinion.
Yeah. And also, I mean, like you said, everybody on this episode caught strays, though. I mean, like,
Facts.
No one was safe in this episode at all, man.
Nah, bro.
Again, I maybe I said this, at the beginning, when we started recording, but it's not like every episode was like, no episodes were super boring or anything, but like this episode was very interesting just because I was waiting for that end, and the ending is what really kind of fucked it up. Because it ended up being some just plain Jane. In the end, it's that random chick, right? It ended up being like some.
Oh shit!
Because remember, it was Selma Hayek, and then her and Selma Hayek were fucking.
Yeah, they were going to get their
trying to take down the whole thing. And then when they finally do it, when she finally takes down the system, it ended up being like that normal chick, right?
Yes, and it turns out this was ode to old Black Mirror. So I remember that part because it turned out that the reality that they were in wasn't even reality. Actual. It was VR. So the whole thing was VR. It was like layers of VR within VR, and then
so you're thinking you're somebody, and then you're also thinking that you're in that body. You are that person. Then that person thinking that they're them, and then Selma Hayek all of a sudden, and everything's all layered to your brain. Because I did like that part. See, again, this is why I'm thinking I'm still holding out hope for the rest of the episodes, because I'm like, this was good, but it wasn't really, that ending was kind of whatever.
It was like
it's kind of because you have all these different layers, and then at the end it just ends up being that normal chick. And you're starting to think, okay, maybe this could be somebody thinking like, let's say your favorite actor is fucking Tom Cruise, right? You're thinking you're playing corn, or corn is awful, or something like that, right? And you got Mark Wahlberg or Tom Cruise playing me. And then I'm thinking that, oh, why are you playing this other person and blah, blah, because there's different layers to that. I don't want to say vision, just because it's layers to your thought.
That too,
yeah. Perception.
Exactly. Which that's a great point. And that is one thing they illustrated. Was the layers of perception in that episode. Like your perception, like basically they kind of gave a lot of. I noticed they gave a lot of universal laws, and they gave examples of a lot of universal truths that I think people really need to get more of an understanding of. Like this one was obviously like you know what I'm saying, cause and effect. Like whatever you do, it reverberates throughout, basically throughout, you know what I'm saying, all like everything, like your energy reverberates around out of everything because we're all interconnected at some point, right? So
Yeah.
whatever that reality that you perceive is real to you until something else says it's not, right? Or until like and for this instance, they thought they were doing a good thing and you know they broke that fucking whatever it was, the mainframe, or if you want to call it, you know what I'm saying, the thing that was
Yeah.
controlling everything, the big orange glowing thing.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh shit, I wasn't even me the whole time. They're like, no, don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like it's just not real. This is just a layer. Like, huh? I thought it was me the whole time.
And then
And
she
like
breaks it.
person didn't know they were in that, like, yeah, it was wild, man. Yeah. Each person didn't know they were in that layer and shit. Yeah. Like you said, everybody caught strays.
Now, I do have a question for you though. So with this whole episode, and obviously it being called Joan is Awful, it's a chick. She's thinking that. Basically, my question is: do you think that it's her perception? Going back to perception, is her perception of herself of her being awful, or her perception that she thinks that, or I guess she thinks that other people's perception of her is that she's awful?
I think both. I think the only reason she went to the shrink was to affirm to herself that her reasons for feeling how she felt were valid in that episode. And if you remember, they said, she asked like, why do they call it Joan is Awful? Like, why can't they highlight the good things? And they were like, well, we did studies and basically people like drama and bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they made the shows off of.
Yeah. So because while watching this episode, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, I get there, you know, they're calling it Joan is Awful. I get they're kind of basically exploiting her life, exploiting all of her mistakes and, you know, her, you know, whatever. But at the end of the day, she's still sitting back having to watch this. Everyone is still sitting back having to see themselves on screen. So maybe they're thinking to themselves, they're overreacting. But it's funny because when you're watching everybody's reaction, I personally, maybe not your average viewer, because whoever wrote this show, I could go on days about just in terms of like the way they have people react on the show, but the way they had everybody react to the way they were on TV, it was like, oh, we have to blame Joan. They made me look like I was in a bad light or whatever. And it's just like, huh? You know?
Yeah.
Like old girl that was they got fired from the job, right? And then she was like, oh, you were at my housewarming party just last weekend or whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she's sitting there in real time watching the replay of that on the show. And she's sitting there freaking out. But it's like, fam, you
were there.
It wasn't to that extent, but you were there. You know exactly what the fuck happened. You know that, you know, this was accident, that was accident, whatever.
Right.
And
in reality, she froze and didn't really say shit.
Yeah, and it's funny when she's watching on the damn thing. And I couldn't stand that gay couple, but that's a whole nother fucking thing.
Yeah,
that's what I know. But you should have known they were gonna do that shit. But
right,
where she's at the bar where old girl, and she's watching on a TV, and it's just like, well, you can clearly tell that the TV show that you're watching is a little more dramatized and exaggerated than what it was that actually happened in real life, which I also thought was, you know, that's mostly a true thing, right? Mostly a real thing that happens.
Right.
You know, you got to dramatize everything to put it on screen anyways. But yeah, you know, look, I thought that they just made everybody overreact in this episode. I mean, I get that at the end of the day, it's a show and you have to kind of do that a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't know what the purpose of that was. Again, like I left this show, or at least this episode, confused as fuck. I did. Because I was like,
I feel you.
What do they want us to see this as? Like, what do and again, I understand Black Mirror is always like this open mind. You gotta, you know, it's your own. What do you think of it? But it's just like, at least you can always kind of gauge like where they're trying to take it. This episode particularly, I didn't know where they were trying to take it. Just like the other episode that we're going to be talking about here soon with the two dudes in the fucking spaceship. Like, I'm just like, I don't understand where they're trying to take this story. And it was the same thing with Joan is Awful. Like, I don't understand where they wanted us to kind of land on with the person of Joan herself, except for the fact that it's a chick that I guess makes mistakes and makes, I guess, bad choices, but not really terrible choices. It's just a normal fucking person that signed a terms and conditions and didn't know what the fuck they were signing. And like everybody else, that's the only kind of like thought process I can kind of gauge from this in terms of she did that, and now she kind of exploited her perception of herself, and other people's perception of her is now exploited into a television show. That's all I got.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head, basically, dude. Like, that's basically it. Yeah. I mean, I don't have much more to say on that episode. I mean, it was, like I said, I was up until I saw the last episode. That one was probably my favorite, and then I'm kind of like, I'm between 1 and 5. When I say, I shouldn't say favorite. I should say best. Favorite. I don't really know if I can count any of them my favorite, to be honest. But
Gun to my head, if I had to pick a favorite, I'd say the paparazzi episode.
Really?
With
Okay.
Zazie Beetz.
Okay. That one was interesting. That one was kind of weird.
Yeah,
Actually,
they were all weird, and
yeah, they're all weird.
but
as fuck.
not weird in the Black Mirror way. You know what I mean? This is more like
just weird. They were just weird to be weird. Like 2023 weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit. Well, I guess we'll go to episode 2. This one's called Lock Henry. Keep in mind spoilers. I mean, I hope everybody who's watching has at least seen the shit. I know. One of the homies hit me up and said he'd only seen like 2 or 3 of the 6, or of the 5 or whatever the hell. But he's gonna pop in anyway. But yeah, so Lock Henry is basically so the thumbnail of the video is actually from that episode, Lock Henry. It's a Scottish boy, I guess, basically a Scottish dude, and his American girlfriend, who is obviously they're in an interracial relationship. And she's kind of like picky, I guess you could say. She was kind of just like didn't really have like cultural, like she couldn't pick up on the cultural manners that you should have when you're visiting somebody else's country, especially somebody else's mom's house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she was like, oh, like I remember a scene where the mom was like, oh, you didn't like the such and such, and she was like, oh no, I just am watching my carbs, and then literally the next scene she's drinking a beer. So I was just like, like that's what they do. And basically, they're both film school students, right? And they went there they were going back to his house to make some environmental documentary or something like that. And turns out they go to the bar. The fucking bartender tells the girl about a local, essentially what would you call it? Like a local crazy guy had a string of murders or something like that, essentially.
Yeah.
And that's how they played it when you first saw it anyway.
Mm.
Then basically, long story short, it gets kind of messy. Turns out the main character dude's mother or father was on the police force, and he was involved with the shit. And it's basically like this weird sort of like torture ring, essentially, like murderous torture ring. And then the guy who the whole story's about was groomed by the dude's father, and then his mother ends up killing the father to cover it all up, and then they go do this fucking documentary on it, and then it brings back some old shit.
Yeah.
Mother ends up killing herself, like all kinds of wild shit going on in this episode.
And oh man, yeah. Again, I watched this like 4 days ago, so like some of the stuff when Jaren's explained it to me is like coming back to my mind. So question. Because I want to pick, because it's funny how at the beginning of the episode where old dude, like I don't remember their fucking names, it's been days, but where old dude and his girl are like going back and forth because she's like, oh, we should totally, and this goes with another cultural thing as well. I wouldn't even say cultural. I would just say the generation nowadays is so believable that they would do something like this, because you think about the nasty documentaries that come out now. Even on Netflix itself sometimes, but where the dude and old girl are going back and forth on whether they should even do a documentary on this, where they should change the documentary. He's like, look, I kind of like the documentary on the eggs.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, nah, fam, you have a town known for a psychopathic murderer. We're going to do a documentary on that. And you could clearly tell that it's hitting close to home because, fam, Like his dad was involved with that shit. So he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, man, like I don't want to fucking. How do I
He's
do a
like, I'm
documentary
good.
on that?
He's
Like,
like, I don't
I'm
want to bring mom back into it. All this, you know what I'm saying? He was
yeah,
trying to stay
he's
away
like,
from that
fam, I ain't
shit.
trying to open that fucking box up. Open that box up again. And again, going back to the whole, societal. I won't say cultural, but societal type of thing. Like basically, the chick to me in this episode was like the average person in society nowadays.
Yeah, 100%.
Where they see, and look, I mean, I would say we're all guilty of it in some way, but in this way particularly, not saying me because I'm not, but I can see your average person getting that bright-eyed fucking idea like, oh, we're gonna make a fucking documentary about this because think about this, think about that, think about that. And even though the friend was egging on, he was like, well, that's gonna, because remember they were suffering from people not visiting their town anymore because of this,
because of that.
murder. So now the dude that owns the bar, him and his dad, I guess the son, he's like, yo, we should totally do a documentary on it because that'll bring people back to the town. Look at how many of these documentaries that came out, and people actually went to those towns after that, and the business was booming. And he was like, let's go ahead and do that. But I wanted to point out though, it's just at the beginning, the cat did not want to do it, man. The main character dude, he kept saying, I don't want to fucking do it. And I was like, as soon as that happened, I knew something bad was going to happen, man. I knew they're going to open up some shit that nobody was really expecting. And of all the horror movies that I've watched, you would think I expect something like this. I did not see this coming. I didn't see the end coming.
No, I didn't either.
Where basically the mom and the dad were hosting like sex parties and shit with their victims.
Yeah.
And it was crazy, man.
Yeah, weird. They were having like weird sex parties and murdering people after that, and it was really fucking weird.
Yeah.
They really went full. I would say they went pretty tinfoil hat on the season. Like they obviously you've got those things being exposed by that one guy who apparently got rid of himself in jail, and and then you've got the stuff with Chase Bank paying off that very same person's accusers and stuff like that. So I found it interesting that they're showing a lot of this, like, supposed like tinfoil hat elite, you know what I mean? Like them people type of rings. I can't really say the word because we'll get flagged for sure. But I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, they're using the things that people associate those people with, and they're putting them in the show here, which I've noticed that. So this episode and also episode 5 as well. Demon 79, I think, also had a little bit of, kind of that dark side to the elite type of vibes to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, episode Lock Henry was definitely an episode.
Yeah, like the whole time I was thinking it was going to be the dad of the bar owner that was going to be like they were going to uncover something with him, especially towards the end where he's walking towards his son, and I was like, oh shit, he's about to fucking kill old dude. And then again, like this kind of felt more of like a horror movie type of feel to it, which I wasn't really.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, I fuck with, but not for a Black Mirror episode. You know what I mean? I
agree.
That was the whole thing with me when it came to this episode. So again, I wasn't a huge fan of this episode, but I do have to say, like, those isms that they have in terms of like that girl. If you guys go back and watch the episode, the girl is literally what society to me is. Like your average person society is going to act that way, is going to think that way, is going to, take advantage of the boyfriend. She was manipulating him, man. I mean, look, dude was soft as hell for letting her manipulate him, but at the end of the day, she's still manipulating him.
Facts. And she was oblivious to everything until it was too late as well, pretty much.
Yep. And then I mean, and then think about what old dude had to go through. Going back to, again, the very beginning. That's why I couldn't even watch the episode a second time, to be honest, man. Just because if you go back to what he was saying at the beginning of the episode, he's saying, I don't want to do this. And think about that. Think about just anything close to you where you're just like, I don't want to fucking open that. I don't want to open up Pandora's box, open again on
Oh,
that
no,
shit.
No.
And then somebody does it, and then think about it. Dude lost his girlfriend, his mom, opened up a whole new shit. Then they did the documentary, bro. They finished it. Remember at the end, they finished the documentary and put it out. And then the dude gets famous, and then he sits there with the trophy, and he's unhappy. At the very end of the episode, he's sitting in a room by himself, and he's sitting there having to pretty much like all that shit's hitting him all at once. And I'm just like, bro,
Dude sitting there just like crying, just like staring at the TV, like drink in hand, like crying.
And
That's crazy.
I'm like, bro, like go back to the beginning. And he's saying no. I'm just like, bro, see.
Yep. And his mom, you know what I'm saying, deleted herself.
Oh yeah, she offed herself. Yeah. She
gave him the tapes. She said for your film.
Yep.
Herself.
Which was really weird because she was excited. She was like, as long as you get justice for your dad or whatever, she was like, then I'll stand right by you guys for making this documentary. And then that shit gets exposed.
Well, she offed the dad, remember? That she offed the dad to hide it from her family.
Yeah.
To protect the family.
Yeah. And I was like, bro, like this whole shit. Just think about it, dude. That was a heavy episode, bro. That was a heavy ass fucking episode.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Again, I mean, it wasn't a shit episode or anything like that, but again, it's just the majority of the episode was weird just because it didn't feel like a Black Mirror episode.
That's fair. It was almost as if it could have been like, I don't know, like an episode in a like a crime docu-series type thing, or I don't know. It was kind of like maybe not docu-series,
like maybe like Twilight. I don't know, Twilight Zone or something.
Yeah, it wasn't very Black Mirror-y, I guess.
Yeah,
it was just creepy, basically. Shout out Revis content. He says, I don't remember what season it was, but the episode where the two friends are playing that Mortal Kombat style game and then fall to each other. I was thinking about that for like a week after.
We talked about that episode before.
Yeah, actually, we did. That was season 5, I think. Wasn't it? Yeah, that was season 5. Yeah, that's
a good episode though. Yeah.
What were you saying? You said what?
That's a good episode. That's a really.
It actually was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mark.
You talk about society. That's society nowadays.
Oh, 100%.
I think it's called Striking Vipers or something like that.
Striking Vipers. Yep.
Yeah. That's literally society nowadays in 2023.
Yep. Yeah, shit, you got a good memory. I damn near forgot the name. But shout out to Mark. He said, "What up, comrades? Long time no see. Hopefully both of y'all doing well. I'm behind on Black Mirror, but hopefully I can catch up soon." Yeah, man, we doing well, man. Shit, no rush, bro. Take your time on this joint. We spoiling it anyway, so I mean, if you really care that much, I would say turn it off because we spoiling. But other than that, the only time I ever tell you to turn away from the comrades is if you don't want no spoilers. But
but trust me, you wouldn't mind the spoilers for season 6.
Yeah, nah, you ain't gonna mind these spoilers, bro. So I guess next will be episode 3, Corn's favorite, jokingly favorite episode. I think it was called Beyond the Sea, right? I guess the plot was Aaron Paul was one of the main characters in here. And basically what it was.
Oh no. My quote unquote favorite one was the paparazzi one, not this.
Oh shit, that's number 4. Okay,
that's number 4.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, so this is basically 2 astronauts in the 1960s, but with a twist. Basically, they're up in a space station, and each one of them has a robotic body that they can basically lay in this fucking it almost looks like a massage mat, and that they put a dog tag in the thing, and they lay in it, and then they can go inside that robot body and down in the real world while they're up in the space station. And basically, is Aaron Paul's character, the dude from Breaking Bad. You know, everybody fucking knows him at this point, I guess. And the other dude,
Josh Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett. Yeah. Basically, Josh Hartnett's character ends up getting somebody figured out he was a robot and they wanted some parts off of him or something. basically ended up chopping his avatar into pieces. He was kind of like a horny type of dude. Like he was always feeling his wife up and shit. But he would like make her, you know what I'm saying, orgasm, but obviously she couldn't do nothing to him. So he was trying to like please his wife and shit during the whole thing. Had his kids that he enjoyed, and he also enjoyed like drawing, like art and shit. And he was doing like weird portraits of his kids and shit, but it was nothing like weird like that, but it was just kind of weird. And then Aaron Paul's character never touched his woman, never. I don't even think it was his wife or girl. I don't know what she was to him, but there was a kid there too. And then dude's avatar, Josh Hartnett's character's avatar gets his body chopped up into like 15 pieces or whatever. And then they start sharing Aaron Paul's avatar. And then that's when shit gets weird, because when the Josh Hartnett dude, basically the dark-haired guy, gets in Aaron Paul's vessel, he starts to act kind of funky with the kids and the wife and shit. It starts drawing and shit, and then he tried to make a move on the wife, and she told him no, and all this other weird shit. I can't remember. Do you remember what happened at the end of that?
He killed her. He killed the dude's family.
Yo, that's right. He killed his whole fucking family. That's right.
Yeah. I was like, bro, if this episode doesn't get even more weird, like dude just kills the family, and then Aaron Paul, his character, comes back into the spaceship, and old dude's just sitting there. And just pushes a chair or kicks the chair open, like, "Hey, take a seat." And then the episode just ends.
And the episode ends. It's just like, bro, shit.
This was for two of really great actors, man. I was just bro.
I know.
And fuck, I forgot who played the wife, but Aaron Paul's wife, Rooney Mara's sister, man, Kate Mara, and yeah, dude, that whole episode was weird, bro. I didn't like. I think that was like the first episode. I was just like, I didn't like that episode.
Yeah, it was weird, and like it was almost hard to follow at first, because again, I had to fucking watch it twice. But I was just kind of like, dude, this episode is not. Yeah, it was probably my least favorite, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, it actually kind of got interesting when the dude's family got killed, like the first guy's family got killed, because you're like, okay, that would kind of make sense, because you are going to have people that are going to be looking. I mean, you think about Blade Runner, you got people out there looking to see who's human, who's not really human.
Yeah, facts.
That's going to happen in real life.
Facts.
That's just a fact. So once that happened, I was like, okay, this is interesting, because now dude's stuck up there in a spaceship. He goes crazy. I like that whole aspect too. I mean, you're going to go fucking insane if that shit happens.
Ape shit.
Because there's not shit you can do about it. And you're literally in space.
Ape shit.
Again, very interesting from like beginning to like maybe like middle part. But then once he started using Aaron Paul's character's body, his avatar. And by the way, when they said that when they had the whole conversation, when he and Kate Mara had that whole conversation of like, hey, my buddy, he's gonna come in to this world and he's gonna, be here just for like an hour a day, whatever, and they agreed to it. I don't know why. My dumbass thought that he would be coming into his own body until he actually showed up in Aaron Paul's body. And I was just like, oh, that's right.
That got me too for a second.
They fucked up his avatar. Okay, I was like, oh
yeah. Yep. That got me too.
Because I thought that he was going to be going out to get revenge. And I was like, oh, okay, this may be interesting. But then they just did the whole like, oh, I'm just going to sit here in pain. Oh, fuck your kid, fuck your wife, whatever. Yeah. And then it just ends. And then, obviously, they had an argument. Aaron Paul's like, yo, dude, you fucking hit my kid, then you try and hit on my wife. And it's just like, bro, what the fuck?
So you're not using my avatar anymore.
Yeah. And then he takes away the avatar. Right. And then you need a 2-man ship you need 2 men to. I think that was the big problem there, is that he couldn't kill him or do anything to him because you still needed 2 men to pilot that ship.
Exactly.
So yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah. I did not like this episode.
Nah. And that's why I put out the chairs. Like, we can't kill each other, so have a seat. That shit was wild. And then when he did it really quickly too, because when he did it, Aaron Paul's character went out of the space station to go like fix some false alarm that he said was there while he stole his tag, because he took his tag off when he went out in the spacesuit. stole his
Yeah,
tag. And fucking.
But
did
remember, it could be really quick in space because remember when you're in space, apparently,
That's true.
when you're in space, time goes by much faster. So once he goes down to Earth, he could be there pretty much all day and then come back, and it's only been like maybe what 30
Right.
seconds, 2 minutes, or
Right.
some shit like that. You know, I don't think that's exactly how the time in space works, but y'all get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, crazy, weird episode.
Yeah, I didn't like that episode, man.
It was probably my least favorite. I would say that was my least favorite one. Yeah, number 4, Maisie Day, Corn's quote unquote favorite. This one actually wasn't the worst either, but yeah. Anyway, basically, Zazie Beetz, that's the girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Zazie Beetz, interesting name. Basically is a girl who does like paparazzi type stuff. It's paparazzi type adventures on the side. It's kind of like, it's almost like mini witch hunts to try and find people who've, gone missing or like she basically got in trouble, not got in trouble, but her shit started to get fucked up for her, or she got out the paparazzi game, if you will, when somebody that she went and got pictures of and made $300 a picture for, once the pictures leaked, dude offed himself because the pictures were leaked, and she felt responsible because he tried to tell her to like, hey, like stop, delete those pictures or whatever the hell he said, and she just drove off.
Mm-hmm.
So then she was like out the game, and then somebody said they were looking for some girl. The girl, the actor's name was Maisie Day, who was an A-list actor who basically went missing. Long story short, her and her paparazzi buddies end up like finding the shit. They were looking for like a $30,000 payoff or payout for the pictures, which ended up being like, they were saying it ended up being worth like $1 million because of what they saw. Yeah, man, it's fucking like they ended up chasing her into this weird like mansion in the woods, dude. And she was like, the actress was like in this basement shackled up. Like they did, like I'm telling you, they went full on like weirdo elite, weirdism shit.
Bohemian Grove type shit.
Bohemian Grove type shit. Like we're keeping her in chain. Like she was like chained up by the neck, and it was fucking weird. And then
Ritual shit, man.
we had some weird ritual shit. There was like goats. They kept her with the goats and shit.
Yeah,
it was like
they had the goats in the corner. Yeah,
they had goats in the corner and shit. Like it was, that weird. Like I said, tinfoil hat shit. What they put in the shit. And then what got me was like the paparazzi dudes. All they kept doing, like I remember the scene vividly. Like they just kept snapping fucking pictures. Mm-hmm. Like they just would not stop. And I just like I couldn't even like I was like this.
I'm dead.
I was like, bro, like all the flashing was getting so fucking annoying, dude. And I was just like, bro, I was sitting there like this. Like I'll wait till it's over. Like I cannot watch this fucking flashing anymore. And like she was like basically dying, and they're just like common members of society at this point.
Yeah. I mean, literally the whole episode, I was thinking like this is a complete reflection of society.
Yeah, 100%.
And again, this goes back to what I was saying with the other episode. Like I like those kind of things where we can sit down and clearly see like, this is a reflection on what this world is going through right now and the way this world acts right now. When it comes to these situations, because that's literally what would happen. I mean, we just saw, we see it all the time, but most recently we saw old dude, one of the rappers, was it Big Pokey, passed out on stage.
Yeah.
I think I saw maybe 2 people run to him and try and, at least try and help him, or, so I think maybe one person tried to do CPR or something like that. You know what everybody else did? And you could clearly see it clear as day in the video. Phones out. Yo, is he okay? Oh, yo, Pokey, please don't tell me it's a joke right now.
Yo,
okay. And I'm just sitting there like,
you dropped the beat.
Yo, that shit was crazy, man. When that beat came on like 30 seconds, I was like, bro, come on.
I know, bro. That shit was fun.
Like, come on. No, but like, I mean, look, that's the way society is nowadays.
Yeah,
You're going to have people in very serious situations. where people are in dire need of any kind of help, you're gonna have the people to take out the phones. Yo, I can't believe it. Niggas ain't gonna believe this shit. Like,
Right.
bruh.
Yeah.
So with the whole paparazzi situation, that's pretty much that in a nutshell. But I want to get to, Zazie Beetz' character, that main character, right?
Mhm.
Where, like you said, at the beginning, she says, "Oh yeah, I'm done with this. Old dude off himself. I feel terrible." Blah 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 blah. But then real life hits her. Bills come due. You still need a job. Still need to do this. Oh well, it's quick money. Let me go do this. And then she finds herself having to go, and I wouldn't say having to go, but pretty much, she wants to make money, having to go and follow this chick all the way to her quote unquote rehab.
Mhm.
Um,
Which is interesting that they
Mhm.
called it rehab because we know how Kanye was when he went to rehab and came back, right?
Yep.
So it makes you think like,
Or,
Yeah.
if you guys, a little cheap plug to Corner on the Pod, if you guys pay attention to the whole Demi Lovato situation, she went to
Facts.
rehab and then came back and started saying that she was them days and
Yep.
she's gender fluid. Then she went back to a female
Yep.
6 months later. So this
Yep.
all happened right after she went to rehab. So
Yep.
again, these celebrities going to rehab, go to quote unquote rehab. Yeah. I mean, take a Lindsay Lohan too. I mean, you going for days.
I mean, go on and on.
that-
Name a Disney character. I mean, name a Disney child star. Honestly,
Orlando Brown. That
yeah.
all of them go through that shit. But but to go back to where she finds herself having to go and find this quote unquote rehab, and the fact that they're outside of the facility, they know it's sketchy. And then the two dudes put a tracker on the other guy, and this is also showing you guys what they actually do in Hollywood and in New York and Southern Florida. Like Miami, New York, LA, all them. These are what a lot of people make their living off of. They make their living off of just literally going into people's private lives and doing whatever they can to intrude on somebody's private life because they fall into a certain income bracket or they're a quote unquote influencer. That to me is a whole nother moral kind of. It's just you have to ask yourself what morals do you have when you step into a profession like that. And it's not many professions that I actually look at and I'm like, you have to have some really bad morals in order to be in this profession. But paparazzi is definitely one of them. Paparazzi is definitely in that handful of professions that I think to do that on a personal level. But yeah, I mean, it shows you all that the whole tracking, putting the tracker and stuff. But when they go inside and like you said, they're sitting there taking pictures of her and she's what was she naked? She was naked, wasn't she?
I
Naked,
think so.
chained,
Yeah,
or
chained
she
up.
either that or like barely had any clothes on, chained up. Again, like once you see like the shackles on the neck or whatever.
Yeah.
Once you see that, and then you start seeing people taking pictures of that, I was just like, yeah, dude, this shit is so accurate. This shit is so fucking accurate because you got old girls sitting there trying to help her out, trying to get her out of the chains.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, bruh.
And she's the one who got him in there because she was trying to. She's like, oh shit, she's chained up. Like we got to get her out.
Yeah. And they're like, oh yeah, and then they go in there and they just
start taking pictures. I'm talking about, dude. Like this scene, this scene was literally like a minute and a half, 2 minutes straight of them of camera flashes and camera noises. And while the other girl is trying to like get her loose and shit.
Jaren was about to have a seizure, man.
Not whenever I had a seizure, but that shit was like irritating, bro. I was like, damn, like like they and it was like, do you need that many pictures though? Like it's 4 people taking like hundreds of pictures. Like how many pictures you need?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then the fact they stayed so long that they waited until she turned into a werewolf and
Yep. I forgot about that part. Yeah, then she turns into a fucking werewolf.
Kills all of them except for the main character. Chased the main character to this local diner. Kills everybody in the diner except for the main chick. Then I forgot what I guess she ended up shooting the werewolf in the face, and that somehow killed the werewolf after all the shots that it took from
all the other shots didn't do.
Yeah, magically. And so as soon as she kills a werewolf, guess what she does? You think she would, maybe call the cops and, walk away or, whatever, say, you know what, I'm done with this shit. Maybe I learned my lesson. this tells you again that this was probably the most Black Mirror episode of Black Mirror episodes
That's fair.
of season 6.
That's fair.
Only because throughout the episode, I'm still getting, okay, this is dealing with morality. This is dealing with reflection of society. This is dealing with this. This is dealing with that. And in the very end, you get to the very end and you're thinking, she's done. She's going to walk away.
Nope.
No, Corn. She's not going to do that. She's going to take out her camera and she's going to take a picture of the werewolf dead on the ground. And that's to me, I thought that was a great ending. I'm not going to lie.
Also too. But about that, I forgot. So during that scene where it zooms out, right? It almost sounded like a gunshot.
Yeah.
You remember? Because it flashed like a camera, but it sounded like a gunshot.
Oh.
So like you don't know what she did. You don't know if she took the picture or if she offed herself.
I gotta go back and watch that, man.
Yeah, you gotta go watch that last minute, bro. Because and listen to how it sounds. Because like you think it's a camera, but it sounded like a gunshot to me when I listened to it.
Fuck, man. I gotta go back and see that now.
Yeah, you gotta listen to that joint. That shit got me.
Okay.
Yeah,
because that puts on a whole new fucking perspective now. If that's the case,
I know.
Fuck.
That's why I was like, damn. I didn't go back and listen to it again. I was over it, but I was like, damn, like, was that a fucking gun? Like that sounded like a gunshot. I was like, but you would think because she picked up the camera. This was the last thing you saw, but then it zooms out on the diner. And then it was like,
I mean, because she did have a gun.
She had a gun and a camera.
Werewolf with it. And fuck.
Yep. So you don't know if she offed herself or if she took that picture.
Yeah.
Again, leaving you on a fucking you don't know.
Yeah.
But I will say that was the most Black Mirror episode of the season for sure.
Yeah.
And honestly, now that I'm talking about it, I liked it a little more than I remember liking it. At least
season
from
or the episode
perspective. What you say?
The season or the episode?
The episode.
Oh, hey, I was like, oh no, I'm still on the
episode. The episode. Yeah. All right. So anything else you want to say about that episode?
No, man. Other than like, just to reiterate, like that was the one episode where I was like, okay, that was a pretty good episode. It still wasn't a great episode. It wasn't like one of my favorite Black Mirror episodes or anything like that. But it's still for the crap that we got in season 6. I thought this was a fresh kind of feel to it. And I was like, yeah, this did feel like a Black Mirror episode. But again, just to reiterate that it's going back to morality. It's going back to what we see every day, whether it's on social media or whether it's at our front door. Like it is what it is in terms of us as a society.
Yep. And also too on that episode, that was one of the two that didn't have any like weird tech in it. You know what I mean? Because like 4 and 5 didn't have any tech.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It was just weird, you know.
Yeah. Damn, you are right about it. Yeah. Because them
GPS trackers they use them shit's been around forever. Them shit's been around 10, 15 years. And she was using an iPod in the music video, remember?
Yep. Damn, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, I just thought about that. But yeah, there was no tech. Like even in the episode 3, it was set in the 60s, but it was like robot bodies and shit.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean? So at least there was, there was that, but yeah, no weird, no Black Mirror-esque type of tech in that one. But yet we called it the most Black Mirror episode, which is funny.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. Shoot, I guess we'll go to the last one here. I think they should have had 6 episodes at least, but they always doing this like little 4 or 5 episode seasons.
I feel like every show now is doing like, oh, we're gonna do 8 episodes.
8 max. Yeah, 8 max.
Like, why are we doing fucking 8 episodes for a season? Like, at least 10. But I guess maybe they ran out of ideas. But these were again, to be honest, man. Maybe it looked a little bit better on paper when it came to the season, but like it just did not pan out to be a fucking good season, bro. Like these episodes did not hit. Like they
were more just like weird, man. It was more just like trying to make you like. I felt like they were trying to make you think a certain way more than Black Mirror used to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like they were trying to like, I don't know. It just seemed, I don't know. There's something about them. It just seemed like they were really trying to, I don't know, get you to like perpetuate the shit.
Yeah.
Did you get that vibe?
Yeah. I got the vibe. I got more of the vibe of like them just, to be honest, just them running out of ideas. Like, I feel like
yeah, I got that vibe
for some
too.
reason they were just like, yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and do a season 6 after all these years.
Yeah,
Just not, because I remember one of the directors, or at least one of the producers of the show, like one of the showrunners of Black Mirror, said literally what we've been saying all this time. They were like, yeah, we pretty much said everything we need to say, and pretty much all of it has either played out in reality or is going to play out in reality. And this is before they even did season 6.
right.
So that's why
true.
I'm just like, why even
true.
come back and do a season 6 unless, of course, Netflix gave them a boatload of money to do it.
Right.
But other than money, I just don't see a reason to even have a season 6 at this point. Just because what we watched, man, I was just like, this is more of like a Twilight Zone. I would expect this from like Twilight Zone or like a Donald Glover show, but not fucking Black Mirror, which is, to me, is supposed to be like top
It's a
tier.
Donald Glover show.
Yeah, man, don't get me started on Atlanta. Don't even get me started on Atlanta.
Oh, yeah, seriously. Oh man. Well, last and possibly least, the episode 5 called Demon 79 was again more like horror movie type shit, basically. Where and they even started out like it's a horror film. You know, I mean, they even had like a look like a cover that said Demon 79, Black Mirror presents a Red Mirror film, and yada yada. So basically, this girl is this Indian girl named Nita. Basically, she's like she lives in England, and she's like works at like a department store in a shoe part of a department store, and she basically gets pushed over by her coworker, her boss, and her boss's boss. Like they literally just treat her like pure shit, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and like they'll do shit and blame it on her, you know, all that kind of like pushover type shit. So what she was doing was she was envisioning herself like choking these people out while she's having conversations with them and shit. And then like she ended up like having to help this old weird guy get shoes, and he was like kind of like pseudo trying to like hit on her, but not really, but it was weird, and she was like she wasn't feeling it, and then she like envisions herself like choking him at the register and all this other weird shit. Right? You remember that?
yeah.
And so basically what happens is her boss, like her immediate boss, not who's also the boss of her coworker, who's basically a bitch. They were like, yeah, the food you eat at lunch, because you know she's Indian food has a lot of spices and they smell. And they were like, yeah, and you know, Britain, they fairly racist towards Indians up there for reasons of history. They were like, yeah, the food that you eat, it stinks. And so over here, pointing to her immediate coworker, the one who's always like a bitch to her.
Bitching and complaining, yeah.
Yeah. So over here says she can't really stand the smell, so we would like for you to just go ahead and bring a sandwich to lunch from now on. And she goes, okay. Like literally says nothing. He's just like, okay. And they're like, kind of like, yeah, so go ahead and get that sandwich out. I mean, it's just like, well, I've been there, I brought biryani. And but today I brought biryani.
So yeah, go ahead and get that sandwich.
And he's like, well, you know, you can just I've got an idea. You can eat down in the basement. And then fucking gives her the key to the basement, right? And she goes down there, opens her fucking lunch, and the basement's all like rickety and shit, you know, like a horror movie type basement, right? She's looking around at shit. It's like all this like death, fire, death, like news clippings and shit. And then she fucking goes and opens this drawer. She keeps staring at it. She kept staring at this drawer. Goes and grabs it. It pricks her, so she's bleeding, right? And then she picks up this fucking talisman with this marking on it that she got her blood on. And then a fucking demon pops up in her head. And is like, yeah, you've signed the talisman with your blood, so we're here to kill some people. Basically. And then they go on these fucking she's got to kill basically 3 people, or else a nuclear disaster like destroys, like wipes out the whole country. And that's how the fucking shit starts.
I like how though I want to go back to how that demon came, because remember the demon came out as an actual demon at first. But then I like how they kind of switched the demon from like something we would see in like Death Note. Shout out to any anime fans out there.
Facts.
To an actual celebrity that she saw on television like 5 minutes prior to that.
Facts.
I do like that. I like how they kind of used their head with that one. They didn't go like too fucking blatant with that one. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
To the whole talisman thing. Like, how did you feel though at the end where they turned over the talisman and it was like
nothing on it? Because it was already over at that point.
Yeah.
So like I was like, well, damn, I guess it was over with because she didn't get, it was past the time, she didn't get the 3rd kill. She did kill 3 people, but one of them didn't count.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, my boss was telling me that one doesn't count for some reason. It was some weird shit.
It was because you can't kill anybody that was a real bad, like somebody that had already murdered someone.
That's right.
So you couldn't.
You had to kill somebody who was going to murder someone in the future.
Yeah. Because
this quote unquote demon, which again, Black Mirror with these universal law truths and shit, like they basically had this demon as like a spiritual guide for her, and you could see obviously there's no time or space in the spirit realm, so you can see what's going to happen, what happened, what's going to happen. So he was like telling her what these people are going to do in the future, and then if she didn't do what he said as fast enough, he would just like show her, and then she'd be like, "Oh, I gotta stop him! I gotta kill somebody!" You know what I'm saying? It was really weird how they did that, but again, like I took this as them using how you can tap into your own ancestors to guide you. She was, because of her thoughts, because her thoughts were negative, she got a demon to tell her to kill people, or else shit was going to pop off. So like I thought of it, I picked up on like, you know, you get what you think about. Like you let people shit on you, you have negative thoughts all the time. Like, okay, that's what you want. you and like it was like the last straw was like they literally like slapped her culture in the face. It was like, we don't want you to even eat your own fucking food here. Like, we eat that shit in the basement. And then the demon got her. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it was like it was like the last fucking straw, and then she was like, I'm just gonna kill people. But remember, this demon was only visible in her head. So everybody who sees her, they just literally see her like literally like talking to herself and shit.
Yeah, I mean, because remember she went to the bar, and the bartender thought she was going crazy, and that's when the cop showed up at her crib, and she's like, "Oh, everything's fine," and then the cop follows her, and she goes after old dude.
Yeah,
tries to kill him, then the cop intervenes. Well, hey,
all the time he's whispering like, "Invite him in and kill him," like trying to get her to do bad things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The voice inside her head.
Yeah, man. Like this episode was really fucking like it. Here's where I tell you where I stopped at. Where I was like, you know what? I've binged way too much fucking Black Mirror for tonight. It's where she fucking, because this had to be like maybe 4:30 in the morning. I'm stoned as shit, still watching this shit. And she takes the hammer and smashes dude's head that's laying on the bed. And I was like, yeah,
bro.
I probably had enough for tonight. I had to come back the next day and finish that shit.
I was like,
that's
enough for tonight.
It was too much, man. But
that's enough for tonight.
Yeah. But in terms of the whole talent, so this is where I kind of get confused at, because I do get intrigued. Back in my whole interview days, I would like interview, like, I don't know if you guys remember Hunter, the guy Hunter that I interviewed a couple years ago, that, you know, he deals with spirits and talks to, you know, different things like that. But Jared, help me out here, man. because like you said, like when you're speaking to the ancestors, right? And after you get to the part with the talisman, is she no longer in connection with her ancestors anymore? It's
Probably,
just what the
I don't
demon.
know. I guess maybe, but really, she was really she was letting the negative. I took it as the demon taking control of her mind and her thoughts, as her letting the negative thoughts win. Therefore, she was, thoughts become things. Your thoughts becoming reality. So, therefore, if she's thinking about killing and she's being coerced by her thoughts to go kill, or else something bad's gonna happen, she's gonna go kill. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because didn't she have those thoughts before she got?
She
up
was,
there, right?
but it was
I remember those were hallucinations of her, like when
Yep.
she took old girl's head and kept smashing to the glass. That was her hallucination.
Yep. But she was envisioning those negative thoughts as she was looking at these people, and that's what did it. You know what I mean?
I feel like this episode is like a schizophrenic person's fucking wet dream or some shit like that. Like I feel
No,
like
it is, but it's not. Like at the same time, it's like you can also create, like they gave away game in this episode, I think, because you can also utilize these same things to make your own situation better too, depending on your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like
utilizing
you have the right conversations with yourself in your head, you can then make that be something positive as opposed to something negative, like it was in this episode. You know what I mean? But they had to show the negative side because Black Mirror, because people were going to pick up on that. You know what I'm saying? But like the way that shit happened, aside from the whole like blood ritual to the fucking talisman, other than that, like that concept of like your thoughts becoming reality, like that's real shit. I thought
so. Why give them the ultimatum of the world's going to end? Because I think that's where I got the hiccup. Is like with the whole talisman part. Like because what you said, because I didn't get any of that. What you said when you said like it could be like it gave away that gaming episode. I didn't come away with that from this episode.
I feel you.
So I feel like the reason why is because the talisman part is what got me. Like where she goes down in the basement and then that whole shit starts, and then the other part that got me is when he's like, "Hey, if you don't kill 3 people, the whole world is gonna fucking be up in flames."
Yeah.
So that was the part that I was like kind of hung up on. I was like, wait,
was it the world or was it just Britain? Either way, it was their immediate world.
Yeah.
So wait, what were you asking me then?
No, yeah, cause I was just saying like that's where I got hung up on, is because I didn't come away with that at the end of the episode.
I see.
Mhm.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that what was I going to say? There was something else I wanted to add about the end. Oh yeah, when the cops actually got to her, and then like you were saying, the talisman, they flipped it over and it was a freaking dice. It wasn't actually, it had like they looked like a football goal. It looked like a goal post.
Yeah.
At first.
Mhm.
And then it grew one more shorter thing in the middle. Like the symbol on it. And then of course it had her blood on it, and then that's when he showed up. But at the end, they were like, "Oh, she's obviously mentally off. Like, there's no way, she's saying nuclear something's going to happen if she doesn't get the 3rd kill," and she didn't get it. And then the fucking nuclear sirens went off, dude.
Mm-hmm. And then they saw it and they were just like,
they were like, she's right. They're like, holy shit. They were like, she's right. And then of course the nuclear blast hits him, and that's how the episode ends.
And in the end, she goes with them. Yep.
Because the demon mentioned, he's like, hey man, he's like, hey, if you don't pull this off, I go into an abyss for all of eternity. Like just endless black hole abyss.
Said, eternal oblivion, right? Or some shit like
eternal,
that.
Yeah, basically what he said. and then at the end, after she didn't finish it up, he goes, "Did you want to join me?" And then she's like, and she goes, "Yeah," basically like, "Yeah, I'll join you in the abyss."
Yeah.
So he said they didn't say anything about not having a human companion. I was like, bruh. Yeah. So then when the shit basically killed them, they both went in the abyss together, and that's how the fucking.
And she walks all smiling too. That's the thing.
She walked all smiling.
Oh, I guess so. She's just like, what? And they did the whole like fucking slow mo super. If you guys ever seen the movie Superbad, you know what they do, that whole slow stroll thing. She's sitting there smiling. I like the act, like those 2 actors, man. Like the actress and the actor in this episode were actually really good. The dude that played the demon, and then the chick that played the main chick. Like,
yeah,
great acting. But I'm
Yeah.
like, man, like, can you imagine? Just imagine being in some kind of situation like that. Like, you have to feel like you're on drugs at that point, fam.
oh, bro,
You
yeah.
have to feel like you're on drugs at that point.
Absolutely, or yeah. I couldn't imagine something like being that negative. Trying to tell me what the that's
Yeah, like oh, you have to do like I just never understood that kind of stuff, man. Yeah, this episode was definitely was not it for me, man.
I feel you on that 100%.
I couldn't rock with this episode too much, man. But like I always get fascinated. I wouldn't say fascinated, but it's always interesting to me, like rituals and stuff like that. But it's something obviously I don't really fuck with too much, for obvious reasons.
Yeah,
But like, it's just I do try and want to understand some of those meanings and so that I can like better look out for things that happen in our society.
yeah.
But this episode, man, I don't even know how I rank this, but I would probably rank this towards the bottom.
I think I've got it second or third. I'm on the fence about it. So I guess I'm gonna read this comment and then we'll get to the rankings.
Okay. Because again, I didn't come away with this episode like what you came away with. So like after I finished watching it, I'm like,
yeah,
like
yeah. I thought they were like concealing a little bit of like real life game in a fucking weird ass episode, but that's what they do,
Mhm. Yeah.
at least that's what I took out of it, but it was still weird as fuck. Shout out to the Comrade's #1 cloud listener, Elise. She said, I thought the werewolf was shot in the chest by the paparazzi girl, and that's when it transformed back into a celebrity chick. And she held a gun up to her head to take herself out, and the paparazzi girl took a pic of it.
That's right. Okay, so
Damn, you're right. You're right.
The celebrity Maddie, was it Maddie May or whatever? Oh, I shouldn't.
Yeah, you're right.
Maddie, whatever, fucking. She killed herself, right?
Yep.
She offed herself,
That's right.
and then old girl took the picture of it.
Yep.
Because
And that's when it has zoomed out. Yeah, you're right. Shit, we both forgot about that. Yeah, shout out to Elise on that one. You're definitely right.
So the last shot is her taking a picture of it. So it's still, man, still fucked up.
Yeah, still very fucked up.
Still fucked up. Like that ending is like you said, like after Joan is awful, all the other shit is just very dark.
Very dark and like really weird. Yeah, it was one of the darker seasons of this whole entire show. And I mean, we thought that in season 1 when the prime minister had to fuck the pig live on air, we thought that was bad.
Yeah.
That was nothing compared to some of the shit in this season, bro.
Yeah, or that episode where that kid is on the run, where give me money.
Oh yeah, man. Man. Turns out he
Yeah.
was watching that stuff. Yeah. We thought that was bad.
Black Mirror is some dark shit, man.
Yeah, bro.
But this season I'll say it was blatantly dark. It wasn't like dark with like some
Facts.
To me, it wasn't like dark with any like. I would say multiple meanings behind it. I mean, I would still feel like every episode had some kind of meaning or some kind of reflection of people, but it didn't give you like that. Again, something about it is just missing, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, maybe more thought into it. Now I need to go back and watch. I guess I should go back and watch that Demon 79 episode because maybe that will give me a little bit more of a Black Mirror type of feel if I watch it again.
Maybe, yeah. Go give it another. It's worth another like a kind of like a dialed in type of a watch, just because mainly like how she gets the demon, how the demon controls her, and what he shows her about the people he's trying to get her to kill.
Yeah.
And then what he says about the people who basically he's trying to impress by having her fulfill these tasks and shit. Like that's something to pay attention to in there.
One of them, he was saying that like, oh, he has a daughter that he beats or something like that, and she grows up to be like, I think to off herself at 38.
Yeah,
and it's just like,
yeah,
why would you want to know that? Like,
right.
And then when he tried to get old girl to, I think she tried to get him to kill the last dude. He was like, oh yeah, he only lives to be like 50 something or some shit like that. And I'm just like,
yeah, that's right. It's just crazy.
She was like, yeah, but at least we give him a chance to live. And then he's like, oh yeah, he's like, I forgot what he said after that, but I was just like, that is a fucked up way of like just saying, oh yeah, he just gives it a live until he's fucking what? It's just like, bro, that's a whole 20 fucking years from
That
now.
shit
What
was
are you
crazy.
talking about?
Yeah, it shit was
It's
crazy.
man. That's
Yep.
crazy. But
But
again,
again,
that kind of dialogue I do kind of what's the word for it? Appreciate, just because it is something that you would hear your normal person say.
yeah,
Like if somebody
I
were put in
agree.
that position, we've seen a lot of fucked up shit happen on camera in the past couple years that I never thought we'd ever see happen on camera, especially in the past couple years.
Facts.
It does not put me past anybody to think like that. To think, oh yeah, like if you could see the future, if you did have like this quote unquote demon next to you telling you, yeah, that guy he only lives like another like 10 years. That's still 10 fucking years. What are you talking about?
Right.
You know, but again, you know, we know we live in a world now where there's more disregard for human life than ever. So
That's a sad truth. But it is a truth nonetheless. At least from what we can tell. So what would you so let me ask you this. Do you think you would have felt differently about this season if you had watched the episodes in reverse? From 5 to 1.
no, because the particular order is not what really got me. Just like episode, what was it, 4 was the one that I actually at least somewhat enjoyed more than any of the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think I feel like if I were to watch Demon 79 first, I probably would have paused. I probably would have stopped it only just because I had already kind of geared myself to like binge watch that whole night anyways. I knew I was at least going to get through like at least 3 episodes.
Right, regardless, yeah.
Regardless, whether it was going to be good or not. But if I watched Demon 79 first, I probably would have been like, yeah, man, I don't know. That's kind of hard to tell. That's kind of hard to tell. But I would like to say no, it wouldn't have changed anything if I watched in reverse.
That's fair. That's fair.
But again, we may live in a simulation, man. So
Right.
who's to say something? You know, we might not have cracked some kind of code if we watched it in reverse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If anybody would have, it would have been me or Jaren. So you already know.
Facts. Facts. Oh shit. Only reason I asked because I saw somebody online trying to champion it and saying it was meant to be watched backwards. I'm like,
bro, what the?
That's like,
Shut the.
what? It's like, okay, whatever the fuck you say.
What the fuck you say?
Whatever the fuck you say. So what would you rank? What would you say you were your top 3 from or guess could you do all 5 best to worst?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do mine.
Best would be the paparazzi episode.
Okay.
Wait, are we going worst to best? Best to worst?
Yeah, best to worst.
Best to worst. All right, best would be the paparazzi episode. Second best would be Lock Henry.
Oh, really? That's okay.
It's called Lock Henry, right?
Yeah.
Third best would be Joan is Awful. And then obviously you're gonna go Demon 79 and then the 2 peas in a pod episode.
Yeah. The beyond the sea. Yeah. 2 peas in a pod.
2 peas in a pod.
Yeah. Okay, so you basically went 4, 2, 1, 5, 3.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go. I think my for me the best one was Joan is Awful. I don't know why. I just think it was. I'm gonna go with that as the best. You have changed my mind about number 2, which I think I'm gonna go with the paparazzi episode on that because that joint actually was pretty fire. As we discussed, I'm realizing like I liked it more than I thought. So I'm gonna go with that number 2. I'm gonna go with Demon 79 number 3, and then 4. No, well, yeah. Then I'm gonna go 4 Lock Henry, so number 2, and then 5 I'm gonna go number 3 Beyond the Sea, the one with the astronauts. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go.
It's a pretty good list.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty good list. Again, I have to watch. I have to watch Steven 79 now that I know that there's some things in there that I may have either missed or just didn't pay attention to.
Yeah, like I said, just pay attention to like how the events leading up to her getting the demon, how the demon manipulates her, or how he controls her thoughts, and then like how like what he says about his bosses and why he's got to perform basically and have her do these things. It'll tell you a lot more, I think.
Do you think, and just on a side, do you think the majority of society looks at things that way, the same way the chick does at the beginning of that episode, where like they feel like they are being boxed in, or because every person does have like their own, everybody has like their own little world they live in, obviously. Like some people are going to be positive, some people are going to be negative, but I do feel like we do run into a lot of people in life that have that same mentality. I wouldn't say mentality, but have that same outlook on things as the chick does at the beginning, where she feels like everybody's like, I wish there was like a part of that episode right before the fucking Armageddon where it would show. Obviously, it would be too late, right? Like you would have the flashback after she finds out, oh shit, I didn't kill enough people, and now the whole world's going to end. So right before the whole world ends, I wish they did like some kind of flashback where it would show that the people weren't really treating her that bad. Would that have fucked everything up? Or would that have opened up a little more kind of, or gave us a little more open mind to the story in the episode?
It would have gave us a little more on like her perspective of her reality.
Mm-hmm.
Because
perspective versus reality, right?
Well, your perspective is your reality if that's what you see.
Right?
My reality right now is I'm podcasting live because that's what I'm seeing, that's what I'm saying, that's what I'm doing, that's what I'm thinking about. Whereas, so this is my current reality.
I feel like perspective can affect reality.
I mean, that's fair too. Yeah.
I don't think perspective can necessarily, I'm not saying it can. I don't think it always is reality, if that makes sense.
So you don't think you can create your own reality?
No. I'm saying I don't think that it always is reality, because you can have that perspective of like that. That's what I was saying. Like if there was like a flashback of like quote unquote what could have really, or what really went down, where it's like maybe. Well, I don't know a nice way of somebody saying like, "Hey, your food stinks. Can you not?" Like, I don't know a nice way of that shit.
Ain't no nice way for it, yeah.
But maybe like some of the other things, it's not as like as aggressive as it was in the actual episode, right? So like where the boss is like,
I know what you mean.
Like I can't do anything about it. She's my favorite, employee. So whatever she says, I agree with her. Whatever. Maybe it wasn't that aggressive. Maybe he's like, man, I'm in a tough spot. Maybe you could, do this or do that. So again,
it would have
no good way in telling somebody to do that. Like there's no, that's not a good decision to make as a manager. But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know what
if there was a flashback of like maybe people aren't as mean as they were to her at the beginning of the episode, right before the world ends, and she realizes, oh shit, it's too late. I can't even go back and like even try and fix that. And it wasn't even that bad. I just made it my perspective of it was that bad.
Right. That would have added a nice little twist to it, honestly. Yeah. I like that. And that would have tied it in with like some of the other episodes in the season too. Because like which episode was it? Damn. I can't remember which one we were talking about, but like having the first, huh?
Joan is awful.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like about her the perspective being like they made her worse on the show than it actually was in reality. Yeah, like it was still bad in reality, but it wasn't as bad as they portrayed it on the show.
Yeah, because perspective, like the way I'm looking at it is like your perspective could be that, man, this fucking person hates me, or man, I can't stand these people because they're this and they're that. And then it turns out later on down the road, they weren't really this or that. And they weren't really this hateful, or they weren't really this mean to you. Yeah. They're just in their own little world trying to get whatever shit done, or trying to get their own task done. And you created this whole problem for yourself that has now affected your reality now, and has affected your relationship with your coworkers in this case, in that situation. And then now you've gone on this whole murderous rampage, and now the world's gonna, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's a bunch of things that kind of play into that. Hopefully, I didn't confuse anybody when I'm trying to explain the outlook on that. But like,
No,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm someone that thinks that perspective can and usually does turn into reality. Like you say, like you can speak things to existence 100%. But also, I don't think that perspective, especially when it comes to perspective of self, is always going to be your reality.
But why wouldn't it though?
But it could reflect. But it can always reflect it, and it's always possible it could be your reality. Like you say, speak it into existence. Like you say, like your perspective could be that you're this awful fucking person, or that you're this great person, and then it turns out you're not really this great of a fucking person.
But that's
not
somebody else's
reality.
perspective that would give that.
Huh?
That's somebody else's perspective that would be the determining factor for that, not your own. Because like I can say I'm a cool guy all day, but like if somebody else's perspective isn't that same thing, then that's their reality. That's their perspective of you. You can only control how you feel about yourself.
But at the end of the day, if you say that at the end of let's say at the end of the day, you keep doing that, you're gonna end up like Denzel off of Training Day at the end of the day.
Right, but I mean, you gotta be able to like read, you know, you gotta be able to perceive, like, right? Like you gotta be able to perceive. Like it's not just like you're going in like I'm the best ever. And,
no. Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what nobody else says. Like I mean, you can do that. Like
no. I'm using it as an extreme. I'm saying like that's like, you know, that's best case scenario, or I guess worst case scenario, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying like, let's say your perspective is I am this, you know, great person, or it could be, you know, complete opposite. I know some people that their perspective is they're the shittiest person in the whole fucking world, and they're just gonna fucking just be the shittiest person in the fucking world. And but to other people's perspective, they're not.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But even then, it's all of its reality.
Right, but they're still there. No matter, but usually in those situations, what those other people say doesn't matter to that person who feels that way. You know what I mean?
But depends on the person.
What's that?
But depends on the person. Somebody else's perspective may not reflect or somebody else's reality. Yeah, is it? Somebody else's reality may not reflect their own perception of themselves.
That's true, because they might not be in control of their own reality. It might just be, you know, like reacting off of external shit, and only external shit.
Yeah,
and then at that point you're not creating shit for yourself.
But that's still perception, though.
That's still perception, yes, and that's still reality. Yes, 100%. Yeah, the shit could get deep. Yeah, I feel you on that though.
Yeah, I mean, because again, I'm right there with you. Like, look, you can speak things to existence. You can have your own perception of the way you think your life should be. But if you don't do the necessary fucking things of your perception of your, to turn that perception into reality,
then it's just
you know, it's not going to be reality.
Hey, right. It's just swirling around your head, not doing nothing. You got to actually, make the moves. I feel you on that. Yeah.
So hopefully I didn't confuse anybody there.
Nah, shit. This is comrades. We good. Everybody here ought to know what the deal is. It's good anyway. Yeah, they fucking should anyway. But yeah, man, you got anything else you want to say about the season, man? I will say this though. The acting was great.
Mm-hmm.
The directing and the filming was also great. I don't really have any complaints about like the angles and the lighting and the acting, like all that shit was I would say top notch.
Although they picked the world's ugliest motherfucker to play the main character in Lock Henry, I will say that.
I mean, that's
I'm like, bro, y'all Black Mirror, y'all supposed to have the budget of the budgets.
Right.
Y'all, like, who the fuck is this dude? No, I mean, he did good in that.
He fit the bill, though, to be fair.
Yeah, he definitely fit the bill. If anything, he's like the English version of Michael Cera.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's funny. But yeah, you got any final words on or anything, man? That's about it?
No, man, I'm right there with you on that as well, man. Like, I look, the season was shit, to be honest. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like it was pretty bad compared to the other seasons. If this is
Right.
like the first or second season of Black Mirror, I'd be like, okay, maybe this is what we should be looking forward to.
Right.
Maybe this is how it's going to be from here on out,
Right.
whatever. But when you're
set
in
the bar
season
so high.
6 and
Right.
you go from seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and even I don't think that last season was really that great. Or maybe I'm thinking of Bandersnatch. That was terrible too. They just have some terrible ideas when it comes to Black Mirror in the past couple of years. Just leave it alone. But I mean, when you go from 15,000 minutes or 15 million merits,
15 million merits,
and then to Striking Vipers, and then you got some of these other episodes that I forget the name of,
like San Junipero and
San Junipero. That episode with the social credit score, which is still one of my favorite ones, probably in my top 3 Black Mirror episodes. Like when you go through all of that shit, and then you get to Damon 79. Lock Henry, the paparazzi. It's just, it was a letdown, man. It was a letdown. But at the end of the day, it wasn't too terrible that I couldn't watch it. It was bearable. I still got to go back and watch Demon 79. I'll probably go back and watch the paparazzi one too, just because I did at least enjoy that episode a little bit. So, look, at the end of the day, Black Mirror season 6, I mean, doesn't really get a good grade from me, but hey, on a rainy day, I'd say go back and watch the other Black Mirror season. Now that I have Netflix again, I might as well just go back and
they've gotten rid of half the episodes on them. They ain't got all the episodes of season 1 and 2 and shit on there.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they got like 4 episodes of season 1 on there.
No way.
Yeah, bro, they're like wiping episodes and shit. I noticed that the other night. I was like, this is fucking bullshit. They got like all of season 5 and 4, but like 1 and 2, like all the good seasons, like they ain't got all the fucking episodes. Like, how you gonna take off the episodes of your original series?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But yeah.
Hopefully, 15 million merits is on there because I that one is. I'm telling you, I cannot preach about that one enough, man. If you guys have not seen 15 million merits, or it's 15,000, I can't remember.
15 million.
15 something merits with Daniel Kaluuya. If you guys have not seen that episode of Black Mirror, I highly, highly recommend that episode. Cannot recommend it enough.
Yeah.
So, and once you watch it, you'll know why I recommended it to you. I'll just say that.
Yeah, mega facts. That's definitely top. I mean, top 3, top 5 of all the Black Mirror episodes, in my opinion. I feel you on that.
It's weird too. Do you not find it weird that a lot of these at least like half the episodes of Black Mirror, unfortunately, it has somebody offing themselves in some way?
It's quite a bit, isn't it? Yeah, it's quite a bit.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah. When you think about it, there's a lot of people.
I mean, we had 1, 2, 3 episodes just in this season alone.
Just in this season alone,
of people offing themselves.
Yeah,
like
wild.
Jeez Louise, man.
Yeah, definitely wild. Well, shit, man. I guess that'll wrap up our review. Let me ask you one more question. What would you give it out of a 10 this season? 10 being
give it a
best,
4.
1 being shit. 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
Damn, Corn dropped the bomb on that shit. He said 4
I don't play around my entertainment anymore, bro. Like I
feel you, bro.
This shit, bro.
I'm so 4 out of 10.
I'm just like, how do you have you go from again? It's not like it's the first season. If this was like the first season, we didn't know what we get into. I'd be like, damn, this is probably maybe a 7 or 8, just because these are like. But for a Black Mirror show, you go from the upper echelon episodes, and then we get to this, and it's just like, who wrote this?
Damn, he said 4 out of 10. I was gonna go 6, but I feel like
I was gonna go 5, and I was like, you know what? Nope, I can't even go 5. Just because of that astronaut episode, I was just like, bro, like what were you doing? Like I wasted almost a whole hour.
Oh yeah, that episode was garbage.
I was like,
that shit was. And then they have the big name actors in that episode in the booth.
Yeah, dude, you got Kate Mara, Aaron Paul, and Josh Hartnett, and you give us this shit. I was like, nah.
Yeah, that was fucking weird.
Lock Henry was a weird flex, but it was still enjoyable.
Yeah, honestly.
Joan is awful. I think was actually. I want to renege on something real quick. There's actually 2 episodes of this season that I will actually say at least somewhat gave me Black Mirror vibes. Joan is Awful actually did kind of give me Black Mirror vibes a little bit.
It did.
throughout the episode.
You did say that when we talked about the episode, though.
Yeah. So that one and the paparazzi one are the two ones that gave me the Black Mirror vibes.
Yeah,
Even though I still rank that one as number 3 of the season.
Yeah, they could have kept those 2 episodes and scrapped the other 4 and wrote 4 other ones.
Yeah,
and honestly,
yeah. And I don't get how it's so hard to even write a Black Mirror episode in 2023. Like it shouldn't be that hard.
Just like
I could come up with like 5 Black Mirror episodes off the dome. So I don't understand how it's so hard to do.
Well, they're having that writer strike now, so ain't nobody getting shit written. That's why Yellowstone's not out yet.
Yep.
So shit crazy. Ain't shit about them come out for a minute.
No, man, this is their time to start Chat GP and what is it? Chat GP.
Oh, right, yeah.
Chat GPT and all the scripts and shit.
Yep, that's a fact. That's a fact, and that is probably happening. Just like with the music, there'll be the AI.
They ain't paying writers what, and most of these writers aren't even worth the money anyways. With the shit that's come out in the past few years, you think I'm gonna pay you to fucking write shit?
What, $250,000 a year to write?
No.
Yeah, aren't all of them making over $200,000 a year? All those writers. Like, anyways, what's up with your water?
No.
I think it's it. Oh shit! But yeah, man. Any final words, Corn, before we hang it up? I think that's all I'm gonna give it. You gave it a 4 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. So overall, the comrades give Black Mirror season 6 a 5 out of 10 between the two of us. So, and that sounds about right if you ask me, given both our perspectives on it. So.
Yeah, man, I was hyped for this season, and then I got Netflix back and everything, and then I was just like, bro,
boofed it. But hey, I don't think they're gonna do a season 7, so I'm pretty sure this is what we're gonna get, man.
Yeah, I'm about to go back and watch some old episodes to get that bad taste out of my mouth. To be honest, man. Got to.
I feel you. It was like even when the older episodes, even when people did off themselves, it was at least like fictional feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas these were like way too like creepy, real, like it just was darker.
Yeah, and plus when they did it would be like in a weird way. Like if Joan, I would say it would be too much for that episode, but I would still understand it if they had the original Joan at the end of the episode off herself. That would somewhat make sense, even though that would still be a little too on the real side, but it would still for Black Mirror would make sense. Yeah, all these other ones, just like maybe Lock Henry, you kind of could have got away with that one with the mom offering herself at the end.
Yeah. But you didn't actually see her doing it. It was just a note.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Which I feel like they didn't need to show that. Right. I'm not somebody that gets squeamish or no shit like that, but I'm just like some of the shit that they do in some of these shows is just unnecessary. They do.
I agree. No, I agree. Some shit you don't need to. You don't need.
Yeah, they do some shit just for like shock value. Like, oh, we're gonna show her fucking hanging, and you hear the fucking neck. It's just we don't really need to fucking see that shit or hear that.
We
shit.
Don't. We don't.
You could kind of imply that she hung herself
easily, and still be good, just as good.
Yeah.
But yeah, shock value, all that bullshit.
Oh, to go back to the episode too, did you think it was weird that she put the mask on when she hung herself too?
No, because that's what she killed a bunch of people in. So I figured it was only right. And then remember after the shit came out, all the people were wearing the mask like her.
Yeah. Oh,
it's like crazy, like the energy behind that mask, and you got all these people wearing that shit. Like
it reminds me of that Jeff Dahmer fucking series that came out last year, and a bunch of people for Halloween started wearing fucking Jeff Dahmer shit.
Yeah,
and I was just like, bro, this like more reason of why we are fucking doomed.
Right.
You got motherfuckers out here literally because of shows now, because of Netflix now, the Netflixes of the world now that have these stupid ass fucking biopics of real life serial killers now being praised for that shit. 20, 30 years later, being dressed up on Halloween for like, beyond me, bro, fucking beyond me, because people can't fucking separate reality and fiction. Again, perspective.
He said it. He said it. And shit, on that note, it's been real. I had to end it on that, bro. That was you just sent it off great. It's been real, it's been fun. The comrades will be back. This is not our last episode or nothing like that, so don't get all crazy, you know what I'm saying? We will be back. We will have more fire for y'all. We'll probably do some more reviews. I don't know if y'all caught any of the last reviews or anything we've done on Corn on the Pod, but also if y'all don't even know, Corn on the Pod is rebranded. Damn it! Like went from what was once Half-Ass Pod is now Corn on the Pod. Same podcast, same fire shit. Just a new name to hopefully become better friends with the algorithm.
Okay, yeah, my algorithm's still fucked, man. But which is why I started streaming video games.
Yeah.
As well. But I promise y'all, I got more videos coming. I'm gonna be a little more choosy when it comes to the videos I post now.
Feel you.
More choosy. So it won't be happening as often, which is why I decided, you know what, let me just fucking game on here as well. But be on the lookout for more videos and shit like that coming.
Yes.
I'm gonna be hopping on playing some video games as often as I do now as well.
Yes.
But it's still Half-Ass Pod on Rumble. So make sure when you guys go to Rumble, you're still typing in Half-Ass Pod. You can find your boy over there as well. But yeah, thanks for the shout out, Jay.
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure, bro. Had to let everybody know that you rebranded and stuff, you know. But yeah, man, go yeah, check out Corn on the Pod, and then Half-Ass Pod on Rumble. Comrades will be back with more fire. And thanks everybody for coming through. Shout out to Revis Content, shout out to Mark, shout out to our number one cloud listener, Elise. And and it's heavy, Big J, whatever the fuck you want to call me at this point. It's Corn. We gonna roll out to some music, and it's good catching up with y'all again. Hope y'all enjoyed the review. Oh yeah, I gotta turn the music up if I'm gonna play it, huh?
Shut on. Somewhere sipping a cab blend, catch a cab to the cabin, camping at the canyon, compatible companions, pretty women, medicinal use for lemons, clementines, cleansing, dinner time, Patagonia coats, watching Michigan and Clemson, my click popping Clico, decode the G-code, you niggas clumsy, money clumps like oatmeal, ill like a mealworm, the fly rag and bone jeans, persevere leather shit, custom made pieces you would never get your real life like your Twitter life get dark, just preserve every bit of light and be thankful. Low-hanging fruit falling far from a tree. Let the winds carry the seeds and see what it be. Meanwhile, we'll lead a kid to sip Bellinis. Fucking bad bitches count money on a Sunday. Believe me, mediocrity is not enough. That's why Aquamarine been coming soon for 6 months. Bask in the moment for a moment. Wild like 2 milks. Muffled moans, muff diving on it. Notice niggas never show gratitude. The car got attitude. The crib got character. Terrace altitude. Terry cloth robe, a narrator. Narrating greatness to narrow-minded niggas. Go figure, the real thing, not a figurine. Fingerling potatoes, tangerine gas